Good afternoon, guys. We're back for another Geek Tavern. As always, it's me, Shawn, and I'm joined by Mike.
Hello.
And Aaron.
Yes.
And, yeah. So, I don't think I've really watched anything. In the meantime, you guys can go ahead and I'll think about what I watched.
I'll let Mike go because I haven't watched anything either.
I've watched a ton, actually. So after my recommendation last time, it like lit a fire under my Mortal Kombat ass, I'll say. And I bought Mortal Kombat 11 again. But aside from that, I watched both movies.
Which aren't as good as the animated one.
No, but it's like a nostalgia thing because I watched those as a kid all the time. And then I didn't know this, but my brother hadn't seen Legends, so we watched that again, and he really enjoyed it. Then with our tying kind of into our Mortal Kombat obsession was, you can play as RoboCop and the Terminator and Rambo. Well, my brother had never seen either the original RoboCop or the original Terminator. So we sat down and we watched both of those. So,
Did you watch T2?
not yet. We didn't get a chance to watch T2 yet.
Oh, you watched the original Terminator, you said?
Yeah.
What'd you think of it?
No, I mean, I've seen it.
Oh.
But my brother had never seen it.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
Sorry. I was listening. I was just
It's okay.
zoned.
No, yeah. So, yeah, I really wanted him to see T2, but like he can't jump into that shit blind. So
no, I mean you can because that's how I was introduced.
Well,
Was T2 because
It stands up by itself.
it does.
yeah,
But
the twist.
It's nice to know that
the twist
is Arnold.
Yeah,
even though that was
Yes.
given away in the trailers and
Yeah.
whenever it was marketed
So
back
we
in the day.
We shouldn't be upset that John
We
Connor
should be
was,
upset.
We shouldn't be. If John Connor was in Genesis was revealed in the trailer to be Skynet, then we shouldn't have been upset
that's
as
true.
we were.
Just because
in the 90s they already did it.
Just because they fucked it up, 20 years ago, doesn't mean that they are permitted to fuck it up again. They
What year was T2?
1990.
30 years ago.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
When did Genesis come out?
2011.
15.
Yeah, so
Oh, was it 15?
Yeah, 15. Salvation came out in 09, and then Genesis was 15.
I almost said 2011, which I don't know why the hell that was coming to my head.
Oh, Sarah Connor Chronicles?
I've never seen it.
Maybe?
yeah, I thought that the Sarah Connor Chronicles were earlier than that, but I don't know.
I think it ran from 08 to 11.
Maybe. I didn't think it ran that long. Oh my
It
god.
had 3 seasons. Surprisingly.
Worth checking out.
I don't know how many scenarios can you do with different Terminators showing up each episode. It seems
Terminator.
it seems like an episode of Law and Order
So-
SVU each time, except it's just Sarah, John, and
It doesn't sound terrible for me because I like SVU.
no, I do too. But like, how many creative scenarios can you make with the
Yeah,
Terminator?
that's true.
I remember one episode where it was like they talked about a Terminator that was like found back like in the 30s or something, and he like robbed a bank and like came out like guns blazing, and I was like, "What the hell is this?"
That's pretty great.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Actually.
You might have actually convinced me.
it was like the episode didn't take place in the 30s. It was
Yeah.
just like a flashback, and they're just like, "Oh, this guy had to have been a Terminator," and it was just like, okay, like he comes out with sunglasses, like a bandana over his mouth, and a Tommy gun, and just starts like lighting up the cop cars and everything while they're shooting at him, and then he just walks away.
That's
Yeah.
strange.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Interesting.
Well, you saying SVU did remind me. Aaron and I watched Ratatouille yesterday.
How did that? Oh, never mind. I was like, what does one have to do with the other?
I don't get it because I've never seen Ratatouille.
Oh.
You're,
Well,
you're not missing out.
come on, it's a good movie.
It's okay.
There's not. I think that might be the only Pixar movie I've never seen.
I would never say that any Pixar movie is bad.
I've
I
never
just
seen
have-
Brave.
Oh,
I
I've never
just
seen
have
Brave either.
less-
And what about The Good Dinosaur?
Never watched The Good Dinosaur.
Was that Pixar?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Never
Oh
watched.
shit, I'm up to 3 now. I don't know.
I was gonna say everybody says The
I've
Good Dinosaur sucks.
I've seen Brave. It's alright.
I remember the marketing for Brave, and I was like, "Oh, this actually looks like an adult movie." And then I saw a part of the movie, and I'm like, "Oh, they made it for kids by turning the family into bears or some stupid shit like that." I was like, "Oh, I was actually excited because it looked like it was going to be a mature-ish
Yeah.
movie," but then,
Huh.
they did kiddie shit.
Pixar movies always leave me with a warm feeling. Except Ratatouille.
My favorite is Up.
I haven't seen all of Up, but I've seen
Really?
I've seen like 90% of it.
Huh. Interesting.
I take that back. I might have actually seen all of
I
Up.
wonder what my favorite Pixar movie is.
Well, we'll do an episode about that.
Yeah, we should. We should.
We rank all the Pixar movies.
That means we'd have to watch them.
That's right.
I guess they're all on
I'd at
Disney
least have to
Plus, so-
watch the 3 that I just mentioned.
that might be like a subplot, like
Yeah.
down the road where we just go through every
Oh, that could
Pixar
work, yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I forget what I was just about to say.
No,
Oh yeah, Monsters University. That's my favorite.
I don't mind Monsters.
I don't mind that one. No.
I think
Oh,
I like
it's
the
kinda
first
lame.
one. I think I like the first one better, but I
No.
don't mind.
You mean the
Monsters
second
University.
one?
Yeah, technically, in a linear timeline, the second one.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, what is there? I thought maybe there was like some underground like
Oh, there is. Yeah.
Monsters Inc. or whatever thing.
Yeah, it's Monsters LLC. That's what they started out as.
Yeah, perfect. Well, if I can't think of anything else,
Yeah,
so
I don't.
I guess we could just move on to some news. So, Bethesda the other day announced that they were coming out with an Indiana Jones game, and I was talking to Mike, and I may have mentioned this to Aaron as well. I've never been like the biggest fan of Bethesda. Like, I've never been like totally all in with their games like everybody
Has
else
anyone
is.
ever?
There are tons of people that.
They're like the most memed game ever, where they're like, "Oh look, my car was made by Bethesda." It's like someone took a chop saw to it and like stuck it up against a wall to make it look like it like glitched through the wall.
I would say I like a good portion of what they do. I don't have a list of their games in front of me, but like, correct me if I'm wrong if you know, but isn't like Wolfenstein Bethesda?
I think so.
Yeah, like those are some of my favorite cinematic games. Like everybody says about like their games being broken, like Skyrim when it originally released, and all
Fallout
the
and all
Fallout's
that.
always. But like, I don't remember any glitches in any of the Wolfenstein. Like, and they're like some of the best looking games I've ever played.
Yes.
Should definitely play them anyway. They're they're war based and it's just they're fun shooters.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this, and I'm not. I know I mentioned this to Aaron. I'm not exactly sure how, but if it's a traditional like Skyrim, like Elder Scrolls, or like the Fallout style game. If it's like that, it kind of lends
doubt it.
itself to Indiana Jones because that's like he's an adventurer, and that's what he does. He goes around, but at the same time, it kind of is like a weird thing because you'd think it would be like more of a linear thing that they would want to do with him.
I would have.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it has to be basically the Uncharted series and like the Tomb Raider games because those two are like the same, and they're basically Indiana Jones.
When I think about like an Indiana Jones game, I think about like Fallen Order.
Yeah.
In the structure
Fallen Order,
of it, because
yeah.
like Indy's always like moving from one place to another throughout the movie.
Yep.
So you could easily do it like Fallen Order. Like Respawn could do it really well because you would just like hop on a plane or something, and then just like it would do little, like, the red dot line thing to take you to the next location, and then you get out there, you go.
So
do
I
your thing.
assume you guys haven't ever played one of the Uncharted games.
No.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is.
Oh, that's essentially what it is? Okay.
Yeah. Fallen Order is very much Uncharted Star Wars.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so Bethesda's made the Wolfenstein games, and they also make Doom Eternal,
Right.
like the Doom games.
Yes.
So, I mean, I don't think that the Indiana Jones games are gonna be like the Doom games.
No.
They'll probably be more akin to Wolfenstein, where it is.
Well, Wolfenstein's basically Doom.
Well, yeah.
With humans.
Yeah, Nazis and stuff,
Yeah.
which actually deals explicitly with. I know you've never seen Indiana Jones, but they're the subject matter.
Only the first two.
Okay.
Only the first two movies.
Yeah, but still, they're. No, in the third one, Nazis are very important.
No. When you actually look at the first two movies, it's Raiders and then Last Crusade. Temple of Doom is a prequel.
Okay. Well, again with this fucking stupid way of wording things.
It's a prequel, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's not a sequel.
Whatever.
The first movie is Raiders, and the Temple of Doom.
As I was saying,
anyway,
it could just be like more akin to the Wolfenstein games, like toned down. Obviously, it's not going to be like crazy Doom, like hacking and slashing and going to Mars or whatever.
Yeah,
maybe it should be.
That'd be weird, but I doubt it. Sticking with video game stuff. It's still weird to say. Lucasfilms games. The Lucasfilm games?
Yes.
Okay.
Lucasfilm.
There's no S. Why didn't they just call this LucasArts?
I mean, they dissolved LucasArts.
Yeah, but why not?
Like, you're gonna bring back
what about the
it?
like with the trademark or the copyright or something? I don't know.
Well, I guess it was at one point called Lucasfilm Games.
Oh.
Before it was called LucasArts. So now they just kind of went back to it, maybe for nostalgia purposes, because bringing back the Emperor for nostalgia. So maybe they just went back to that. Nobody asked for it, but maybe they just did it anyway.
Okay.
But
I didn't know it was called that before.
Yeah, Lucasfilm Games was originally Lucasfilm Games, and then it turned into LucasArts, and then it is now Lucasfilm Games again.
So did they announce anything other than the name?
It's
just
the sizzle reel that I saw was just current games that were out there.
And they did say Ubisoft is doing an open world Star Wars game.
Okay. Oh no. No.
I just had a vision of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. I thought the same. I mean, it's only a matter of time before Assassin's Creed goes into the future, right? Like they're exhausting.
Are they
going to
just tie it in together?
Maybe they could. I mean, they'd have to probably contact Disney about that, but because not only.
No.
Like the Ubisoft universe is literally its own universe. Like a majority of their games exist within one universe.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, but when you think about it, Star Wars is a long time ago.
Mario and Rabbids.
Wow.
That maybe they could actually work it in to where it could be Assassin's Creed, but you play as a bounty hunter, and you get sent through a wormhole into the Star Wars universe, and that's how it works out.
Well, I was thinking maybe Ezio could be a Jedi.
We see Ezio die.
Force
Joey wants name, I know.
Force can bring him back.
They'll give him the wrist knife, except it'll just be like a mini lightsaber.
It'll be like those daggers that Dryden Voss fought Han Solo with. The ones that Kira, he was melting through her blade, and then she whipped it around and just stabbed him right in the heart.
Yeah, but that makes me a little nervous because of a lot of Ubisoft's reputation with their open world games.
Yeah.
It's very much like their sandbox.
I've tried several times with several different Assassin's Creed, and it's just not for me. I usually like those kinds of, third person adventure kind of games.
Yeah.
Like the Batman series or the Spider-Man, whatever. But just something with how sluggish, maybe, because you have to be stealthy. So like the gameplay is kind of sluggish, at least from the beginning of the games, because I never get very far. But like I don't know, it just doesn't seem for me.
That's my allotted play style, is stealth in a majority of games like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like that stuff, but it is. I mean, the controls are a little wonky and everything, but it is kind of just it's a little bit much. Everything about them is just like, I don't know. It's too many cooks.
I've loved a lot of like Origins. I really wanted to play because I love like Egyptian mythology and stuff. And I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. So
yeah, Assassin's Creed was my favorite game franchise at one point, and then after Black Flag, which I think is the best game that they have made,
I never tried
because it was more of a pirate simulator than an Assassin's Creed game. I haven't played any of them since then. So
yeah.
Well, I'm wondering what other kinds of games. So what is it? They have EA now and Ubisoft working. Respawn. Dice. Yeah, I'm wondering if they're just going to. I mean, because they're not like their own in-house developers,
right?
So they're going out and like contracting these games from other developers. I'm wondering what would be like your favorite like development team making a type of Star Wars game, do you think?
Well, this is where my brain went. I really love that Spider-Man game. So I think Insomniac would probably make a pretty awesome
Star
I
think so too. Those games are great. Well, did they make the Arkham games, or is that Rocksteady?
That's Rocksteady.
I think Rocksteady would make a great game too.
Rocksteady could make an amazing
combat based.
Or no, I'm sorry.
I mean, their stories are great too.
Not Rocksteady, Rockstar.
Yeah, Rockstar
could do an open world Star Wars game.
Oh yeah,
kick ass.
Yeah, I mean, with Red Dead Redemption 2, like that game is really good. There's problems with it, but it's really good. And obviously GTA.
That's what I mean.
Their mainstays.
You could do a whole open world Star Wars.
That'd be kind of difficult though, because you'd have to like relegate. Like you'd have to, if you do that, I feel like you would have to give the player the option to travel to different planets. Yeah, and that's just like,
could you never outside of one city.
Yeah, that just like never. That doesn't lend itself to the way that they make maps.
True.
Could you imagine that though, if they did make like universal maps?
Yeah,
where like you'd get in a ship, like let's say it's like GTA, you hop in a ship and you start taking off, and then you just activate like the hyperdrive, and you just go, and you just take off. And, like, you come out of hyperspace and there's, like, another planet, like, in front of you, and you fly down onto it and shit.
If they do it similar to how Black Flag did pirate ship sailing, that would work really well, because it was seamless in that.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would equal that to space travel, but...
well, with the new consoles, like, there is essentially no load time. So, like, if you were to get into the ship, they could very much cover any loading with that. So,
it's an interesting idea. I mean, whatever. So far they've had an okay record with the games they've released. At least Fallen Order was good.
Yeah, I think EA's
and Squadron was pretty. I mean, I only played it briefly, but I enjoyed what I played.
Well, even the Battlefronts look great. Like,
here's the thing:
the second Battlefront's better because you have a storyline.
Yeah,
but the first Battlefront was even fun to play.
But the second one, only gets a bad rep because it had microtransactions at the beginning.
Yeah, and then they had
those
to
are all
do
gone.
away with it. Yeah,
but that game's still great to play. So
no, they like that's been everyone's like whole thing is for the first Battlefront. There was no story, 4 maps.
Yeah.
And you had to buy everything DLC wise.
Yeah. DLC's been free in the second one.
Yeah. So that's like that was everyone's biggest complaint. But other than that, they've done pretty well with.
They did good with that. Like Shawn said, the Fallen Order. I mean, I don't know if they have anything else in the pipeline. I got to investigate that part of it. Like, I don't know if EA's time is done.
Well, I know Fallen Order 2 is in development.
Okay.
So
they probably made a new.
So that'll be the Mandalorian tie-in when Cal enters the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
When Cal trains Grogu.
Yes. Yeah, that'll be the Mandalorian tie. What if
and then at the end of that game, instead of Cal cutting up the holocron, he'll be cutting up Grogu.
Oh, wouldn't that be crazy?
He walks out of his like chambers in the Inquisitor uniform.
Remind me again when Fallen Order lands?
5 years after Order 66.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean theoretically Luke could have found Cal. I mean, I guess Cal would be much older than Luke.
I was going to say he would be older than Luke.
Yeah.
But they could still...
Cal would be like 15 years older than Luke.
Yeah. So theoretically, I mean, they could train together and he'd be like, hey, I need your help. And then he trains Grogu and then something happens.
At this point,
this is just wild speculation. Yeah. But
at this point in like, if we're talking about current timeline in Star Wars, like Robert Redford could play Cal Kestis. So
yeah.
Oh, you mean like in the sequel?
Compared to Mark.
That's true.
Like Robert Redford could just be Cal Kestis.
Oh well. Do we have anything else to say or add?
So that sizzle reel, I just want the Lego Star Wars Skywalker saga.
They did announce that.
You know what I want?
It was supposed to come out like 4 months ago.
You know what I want? It was supposed to come out a year ago.
Yeah.
Godzilla vs. Kong.
Well, you're the only one.
Oh, I'm the only one?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure Mike wants it too.
Well, you're the only two.
Yeah.
Shawn's just over here on his high horse. I don't give a shit.
The movie's not finished.
These nerds. And
yeah, you're right. It probably is not finished.
That's my theory.
They probably keep coming back, and they're just like Adam keeps walking into the animators' rooms, and they're like, "Hey, you guys done?" And they're just like, "No."
Monkey with a pistol.
Yeah, some dude who's like sleep deprived just has Kong with just like a 9mm.
We're giving Kong guns.
Yeah, they're just shooting Godzilla with.
Well, I forgot about the Lego game. That was announced a while ago too.
A year ago.
It was supposed to be. I think it was an August release last year.
I'm interested in that mainly because of what they'll do with The Last Jedi, because that was not. I mean,
that's the only one, right? Well, no, 8 and 9 are the only two without games.
Yeah.
I didn't play 7s much. So it'll be interesting to see what they. I assume they'll just redo it because it would be too much to have 7, like that whole game within a game.
Yeah, because it was huge.
So, yeah. So, but I want updated stuff, for that game.
Makes me want to go back and play Lego Star Wars 2.
Well, I started doing that. Well, the complete saga, which is now not complete. But then I was like, I'm gonna have to do this again.
Yeah.
And then I just stopped. But I am really excited for that.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you remember, before we finish this segment, do you remember, the PS2 version of Lego Star Wars and the GameCube version had different, ending levels? And the DS version also did? So, when you finished episode 1, you actually had a level where you were flying a Naboo starfighter, and I think it was on the PS1 or something like that, or PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
That you flew like a Naboo starfighter and did a mission there, or maybe it was on the DS. I can't remember which, but it was different. Everything else was the same, except they had things that were just slightly different, depending on the console that you played it on.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I primarily played when they combined them all together.
Yeah.
On the 360. That's primarily where I played it. So I don't have any reference.
Yeah. I got Lego Star Wars 1 and then Lego Star Wars 2.
I think I owned them, but I don't remember.
Oh, I remember playing those.
I did play the DS version, but I hardly remember it. I remember that you could customize your lightsaber on it, though.
Yep.
On the DS version?
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think that you could do that in the GameCube or that. You couldn't.
You can make a
couldn't-
character.
Yeah, you could do that in 2,
Yeah.
but you couldn't do that in 1.
Right.
You just were stuck with whatever character you picked in the level. Like when
Yeah.
when you unlocked all the characters, you just would.
Number
run
1
through
was
that.
the prequels, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
1 through 3, and then you got to play the first level of 4, which actually in Lego Star Wars 2 is that first level.
Did they drop those like pretty close to each other?
I think like maybe 2 years apart.
Oh, okay.
Because
Well, that sucks.
the episode 4, when you finished the game and you played the episode 4 prologue, that was their like tease where they're like, "Hey, we are doing another one.
Right.
Play the first level," and
Yeah.
But it was a fun game. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see what comes from that.
It'll have dialogue.
Yeah,
That's what I'm excited
that's
for.
that's the one that has dialogue.
I was actually,
But they're kind of jokey, kind of kiddie sometimes.
Yeah.
But I like that.
I was just
Yeah.
watching, or I was just looking at a meme while we were watching the movie of it was Lego Star Wars, and somebody said, "Hats off to the development team of Lego Star Wars 2 because they couldn't use dialogue."
Yeah, the
So they
greatest
made
moment
Vader-
in gaming
yeah.
history.
Yeah, so they made Vader have a picture of himself as Anakin and a pregnant Padme, and he like points at it and then points at Luke to tell him that he's his father.
I remember the first time that they used dialogue in the very first time they used dialogue ever in the Lego games was
It's
the
weird.
droid saying "Roger, Roger,"
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah,
then
they
that
did
was
do
it.
that.
and then the first game that used dialogue like proper was the Lego Lord of the Rings games.
I think it was actually Batman 2.
I'm pretty sure it was Lego Lord of the Rings.
No, he's right. It was Batman too.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing.
I mean, that was shortly after, but
Yeah, I remember seeing the trailer for it, and they were talking, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Legos don't talk." I was like, "What the hell is this?"
yeah, 'cause
Like,
Batman
yeah.
1 didn't have it. And then
No,
2
Batman
did.
2.
Yeah.
He's right. It was Batman 2.
Okay. Well then, I stand corrected.
I don't know.
Anyway, before we get off on a 7th tangent, we had a recommendation that we all watched this week from Aaron.
We did.
So take it away.
Okay, this week we watched the Tony Scott film from 1995 titled Crimson Tide, starring Denzel Washington and Gene Hackman. It's a story about World War III is on the horizon. This crew is deployed and are awaiting their orders, and as tensions rise, so do tempers, and things get out of hand on a boat.
I mean, they're in a submarine.
Yes, yeah, that's
It doesn't take much probably
No.
to make.
no.
tension
You're already
rise.
tense because you're 1,000 feet under the ocean surface,
Yeah.
in a tube filled with 50 other people, and you're probably about ready to kill yourself anyway.
Yeah.
I wonder if tensions run higher on a submarine or on like a plane, like a fighter plane, or like a cruise, like that carry soldiers. I guess you can't really be on that for a prolonged amount of
Right.
time.
No.
So that's what makes it like, well, we'll be down eventually. But you're stuck for like months underneath the water.
Yeah, I mean, even that's the thing. Too.
Well, what
like,
did they say?
you
It was
could-
65 days.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, 2 months under the
Yeah.
water.
You could jump out of the back of a plane with a parachute.
Yeah.
on. Like there is a way off of that. There
Yeah.
is no way off of the sub. Even if they like were at periscope depth, and you're just like, well, I could just open the hatch and get out.
Yeah, you'll be in the
Like,
middle of fucking nowhere.
Who's gonna come get you? You
Yeah.
know.
Yep.
They're gonna just submerge without you and just be like, well, good luck.
Yeah, so I thought the movie was pretty good overall. I will say this: I really wasn't giving a shit about it at all until at first they were on the submarine. I was like, okay, I was starting to get into it, and then when the first bogey appears, I was like, okay, this is when it's starting to actually get good.
Yeah.
But everything, like, I know you need that stuff in
Yeah.
the beginning, like introducing the characters and like this lead up crap. But I was like, this is just like totally uninteresting
Oh,
to
yeah.
me.
Yeah. No, I don't want to say I'm not anti-military. Don't think that I am. But like, that stuff doesn't really
interest you.
Yeah, I'm not like super interested in it.
And it interests me, and I don't know what it is. I've always loved any movie with a submarine, books about submarines. Like I'm just like super into that aspect of the military.
Yeah,
because it's very, very interesting to me. So like all that shit in the beginning, I'm like, this is cool. I'm learning. Like, so like when I watched this movie the first time, I was like, this is very interesting. I'm like, they're doing a lot of things right here. Like none of the shit's not adding up. Like it's all, and then we get into like the combat sequences and all that.
So I get I didn't have too much trouble here. A lot of things. I don't even know if you guys know this or not. I don't know how to swim.
I did not know that. I feel like I did know that.
I had seizures when I was a kid, so I wasn't allowed. And I tried to take lessons, and I just can't swim.
Okay.
So, large mass of water kind of, I don't know, gives me kind of
unsettles you.
Yeah.
I get
so that. It didn't hit me too hard on this one, but so little tangent as you didn't want to happen.
No, we're into the movie now. It's
So
fine.
Super Mario 64, where they're the sunken ship level, I couldn't play that as a kid. Like I always made my cousin play it because I was uneasy about it. Like I just don't like water.
It's understandable.
I take showers though.
Well, that's good. The special effects. I thought it was kind of funny.
It was 1990.
Well, I get it, but it was funny because like whenever we had the transitioning scenes where it would be the end of one scene and then it would cut to the exterior of the sub and it'd be like day blah blah blah, position whatever. It was the same shot of the submarine. They did it like 5 times, and I was like, oh, we're just doing the same like establishing shot of the submarine.
Funny, though?
We know that we're still on the submarine
because if you time it, it's like what? Like 10 seconds total.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Like it's like 30 seconds total of showing the exterior. It just makes me wonder if like for like 5 minutes they just had the camera go around like the practical like sub, and then they're like, we got 5 minutes. We'll cut it and use it for everything.
This is our B-roll.
Fine. Yeah.
Then they found out that was the best shot, so they used it.
Except they would have had to have shot them losing they're sinking shots differently with the prop stopped and all that.
Yeah.
But either way, like that probably didn't take a long time for them to film and probably wasn't too expensive to actually do because I'm sure it's pretty easy to build or get a hold of a model of a sub.
Yeah, it's not very intricate.
No, it's a big tube.
Yeah.
It's a big tube with a conning tower.
Couple fins.
Yeah.
So one thing that I noticed, which I thought was pretty, cool, was that obviously they're not like on a manipulated set because the
gimbal,
sub gets like all kinds of angles and stuff.
Yeah.
So the camera is always being shifted so that it looks like they're at these like extreme angles where they're like climbing up through a submarine. I thought that was
Wait, you're telling me it was just a camera angle?
Yeah.
I thought
good actors.
I thought they would have took like the set.
No, that's way too expensive.
Oh my god, yeah. Like
because I thought that kudos to them for like standing oddly because they
it's the same principle with Star Trek back in the day where they just shake the camera and everybody just goes like this back and forth.
But usually I can pick that out. Like they did a phenomenal job on this movie because I thought that they were like they just tilted the set some.
Oh yeah, like it's expensive because like you look at Cronenberg's The Fly, and that one scene where Jeff Goldblum's supposed to be like walking on the ceiling, like up the wall and onto the ceiling, like that was all done. I remember like I don't know why I remember this, but when I was a kid watching like Monster Mania, they showed how they built that set, and it was like just this big thing that rotated. And the camera would be positioned in one spot, and Jeff would just like walk like along it as it turned.
There's several music videos where they do that.
Yeah,
and
I mean it's
Inception.
insane. Yeah, Inception. Fred Astaire.
Yeah, Fred Astaire is the first real implementation of that. But yeah, I'm fairly certain that this was just
because I started like looking at that, and the first time I watched it, I remembered like that I thought they were all like the set was on a gimbal that would like turn, but then now that you mentioned it, whenever I was looking at it, I was like, wait a minute, I'm like, the camera's just turned this way, like,
and like you could see the camera. I mean, this would look the same if it was on a gimbal, but you could just see the camera being manipulated that way. So that is why I believe it to be that. But I mean, I could be wrong. I'll look it up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know either. I just
continue.
Everybody leans to one side.
I mean, if it was just a simple camera turn, I mean, everybody was in unison. Like, they were acting at the same time.
Yeah, they did a good job of portraying that.
Either way, I thought it looked great. I guess I didn't say at the beginning, like, I did enjoy this movie. Like Shawn said, though, it did take a little bit for it to kind of grab me.
Oh, yeah.
I guess about when the fire breaks out, I guess is probably when I really felt most engaged, or not most engaged, but like it was starting to keep me engaged.
Got the heart race.
Yeah,
got that one guy's heart race.
Oh yeah, I like how that's kind of an inconsequential thing, like that crew member dying. It's really just a springboard for there to be more conflict between the captain and the XO.
Yeah, between captain.
Because he goes down and he's just like, all right, that's enough.
It was a long time. I was trying to like suss out like what was what relationship we were supposed to be getting from the captain, because
it starts off
you're like, oh, he's one of the good guys. So we're going to be on the XO's journey with him, trying to gain his trust, and they're going to get along, and they're going to have a problem, and they're going to work through it together. But then there are these moments where he's like, "Oh yeah," and then just like flips, and he's like completely betrays Denzel Washington's trust.
Yeah,
like whenever he was on the teleprompter, I guess I'll say. I can't think of the word right now. The telecommunications.
Intercom?
Yeah, the intercom.
MC.
Yeah. And he was like, oh, it's come to my attention. XO Hunter says that morale is low. And I would just like to say that if anybody wants to get off the ship now, they're welcome to. It's like, oh, okay. Like, he's really a total ass about it.
See, and like, but there's a line. There's a line that he says to him before they submerge, where he says to him about, he's like the absolute, the wrongest thing you can do on this boat is to kiss my ass or try to impress me. And at the end of the movie, we see that pays off for Denzel, because he's like, well, I won't try to kiss your ass. Like, I'll just tell you exactly how I feel.
He just, the captain just didn't see how much of a challenge he was going to put up.
Yeah, and I like, and even through the movie, that's another thing that I like about this, is because there really is no good guy or bad guy.
I mean, I think it's safe to say that the captain is the antagonist of the film.
Yeah. No,
I mean, the broader scope of the movie is like Russians, which, and we see that, but he is like the clear antithesis to what XO Hunter is.
He could be sympathetic towards him.
No. I mean, he's redeeming. I won't say that he's like completely unforgivable, but
it's kind of a generational like thing, because Ramsey's 30 years older than Hunter. So when you have Hunter, who comes from this new background, who's learned a lot more like through his training, versus Ramsey, who no one has questioned his authority in 25 years. So you kind of have that, which is a nice change of pace for a movie like this, because Ramsey's not really the bad guy because he's doing what he feels is right, and Hunter is doing what he feels is right. So neither of them is the bad guy. But no, Gene Hackman is the antagonist of it.
I feel like even though you're right, I feel like Hunter is a much more relatable character, because his motivation makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
Where it's so if we let these nukes fly, like, we are causing World War III. Like, we have to make absolutely sure that this is what we are instructed to do.
Yeah, we don't want to fire the first shot.
Yeah, or else we are the
You're
cause of
inciting
World
the-
War III. Which
You're
is like,
inciting the
which
war.
is like totally like relatable. Where the Captain Murphy's like, well, that's what we're told to do, so let them shoot out the, shoot out the missiles. And it's just like I
Well,
know
at this
that's
point-
how he was like, how he's lived his military
Yeah.
life is like, just don't question orders, do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, you're kind of supposed to,
Well, Ramsey. So, is this like real time, like in '95, or is it kind of like?
No, it's in 95. That's why, like, at the end of the movie, it says as of January 1996. So
Okay.
yeah, it's supposed to be present day.
Okay. I was just trying to figure out like how old Ramsey is, but so he probably wouldn't have been in World War II.
No, probably
Yeah.
not.
Probably more like Vietnam. Because I was just trying to think
Yeah,
like
Korea,
Yeah.
Vietnam.
where was I going? Like from experience, like you don't want to hesitate, kind of thing.
right.
So you want to.
That's what I mean. It's a generational,
Yeah.
like, that's how they were trained.
Yeah.
So that's what they do.
Well,
They're just
and-
like, hey. And plus, him living through the Cold War and probably being a commander on boats during
Right.
the Cold War, the tensest time up until that point, he was probably like, nope, let him loose. Like, and then when he's like, yeah, but we need to, like, verify this. And he's like, it's not an actual message. We're going by the orders that we have. So, I mean, if that's how they did it in the back of the day, and Hunter's like, no, like, you need to do it this way. And he's like, you're fucking questioning me on this?
I think that's the point I was trying to make was Ramsey has seen action, and that's what he knows. He
And-
kind of has forgotten the book per se, and Hunter is like straight out of learning the book.
yeah, because, like, remember they say about Ramsey's dog.
Mhm.
They're like, oh yeah, he takes that dog everywhere. The Navy just turns the other way. So, like, no one is really quite, like, he's just so high up,
Yeah.
highly regarded as a captain that nobody is going to question him.
Yeah, he's so in the power that
Yeah. He's just beloved by all
Yeah.
of them and trusted by them that they're just like, nope, let's just follow what the captain says.
And then you add on the
And
caveat of the ticking clock, where the missiles will be ready. The Russian missiles will be ready to fire within the hour. So that adds like the time frame of us like, well, if we're acting, we have to act within this window.
Yes.
So that's like, we don't have time to really be thinking about this,
Yeah.
which is also,
Well, and that's the thing. Like, they get, like, it wouldn't be, and that's the nice thing about the story is they're preparing to launch, and they get attacked by the Akula, and it blows their antenna off, severing their radio, like, communications. So then that just adds to it because they're like, well, we can't confirm. So what are we doing now? Are we going by our last given order? Because, and that's the whole thing. You can't explain that away. Like, they go, hey, boss, your message got cut off. Sorry, sorry we killed 9 million people.
So the first message, before I forget this, the first message says that they're fueling
the missiles
and that
to prepare.
and that the nuclear codes have been compromised. So they have
that was the first message. Was
Yeah.
missiles fueled, compromised.
so they
prepare.
have the
So did they
capability
end up-
to fire missiles.
Did they end up not doing anything? Like the Russians, did they not end up shooting obviously?
They surrendered. Yeah,
Oh, they
Yeah,
surrendered.
yeah.
Right. Okay.
that was the final message.
Well, yeah,
Right.
yeah. The rebel forces that had captured the base they'd been surrounded by the Russian military, and they like battled them. They said it was
I guess
very sporadic battles, but they surrendered quickly.
Yeah, I do remember them saying that now. Never mind.
So they were able to disarm the missiles.
I was just like, okay, why? What happened to them? But no, I'm just an idiot.
Are these is this based on real events?
No.
Okay.
No, this is not based on.
Just
I looked that up after watching it the first time. I was like, "Is this like? Did this happen?"
because at the very end of the movie, it says, the protocol of like who wields the authority to launch a nuclear missile has changed in that year. So I wasn't sure if this was like an actual driving force to implement that change.
Loosely based.
I'm sorry. I stand corrected. I knew this, so I don't know why I said that. This is loosely based off of a Russian happening of this. So, in fact, it was during the Cuban Missile Crisis, I believe.
Well, that's what they said. This was like
that,
well, they said this is the biggest, nuclear threat since the Cuban Missile Crisis.
There was a sub during the Cuban Missile Crisis that went through the same type of thing. So basically, they're, during the Cuban Missile Crisis, they dropped depth charges to get, submarines to surface. So their radio communications had been cut off by something, and they were reading that the depth charges were dropping around them. The captain thought World War III had already started, that the Americans were attacking their ships above. They didn't know they were depth charges. So he gave the order to fire. His XO said no. He said, we need to surface and find out what's going on first. And so, like, that stopped World War III from happening, because if that XO hadn't told his Russian commander, hey, no, we need to surface and investigate this before we decide to launch nuclear missiles. So yes, this is based on historical events.
I like
which actually it's done in first class.
I was just about to say I like how they did it better in first class.
Yeah, where Charles takes control of that dude to like blow up the ship
that's about to cross the borderline into the United States territory and be the provocation of World War III.
They do talk about that in first class. The guy blows up the one Russian ship that was about to leave. It's not Russian. It was being taken over by mutants, but it looked Russian because it was a Russian ship. Yeah, he killed all the people and put them.
But the one Russian man shoots a missile at it, destroying the ship, and the commander's like, "Congratulations, you're a hero. Arrest him."
He's like, "You just prevent nuclear war," and he's like, "Put him in the brig." And then he goes, "What?" Like, they drag him off because he doesn't know what happened. So that is the events that this movie is based on, which it does it very well. I mean, you can now, but I think still at that time in the early 90s, you couldn't have done like it done on a Russian sub, because I feel like the newly reformed Russian Republic would probably be like, we don't like that.
Didn't Russia become Russia around that time?
89.
Yeah.
The fall of the Berlin Wall.
Right.
Yeah. The scene where
the wound's still fresh.
The scene where Hunter is directly violating his captain's orders is really intense. Where he's like, "Get ready to fire," and he's like, "No." We cannot fire these missiles until both of us are agreed.
Where they're shouting?
Yeah.
Yeah. When Gene Hackman gives his line, "I'm captain of the boat." No, shut the fuck up. Just screams at him.
Yeah, that's a great scene, because he's just like, "Listen, if we're not in agreement, then we can't fire anything, and I do not agree to this course of action."
And you know what? That scene's really cool, because the first time I watched it, I was like, "What?" I was like, "Are they gonna toss him in the brig? Like, what's gonna go on?" And then it flips, because I thought it was gonna go the other way. I thought he was gonna be like, take Hunter down and put him in the brig, and he was gonna have to figure out a way to like break out and like gather a team to like, go do this. But instead it flipped, and I was like, didn't see that one coming, that they were gonna throw Gene Hackman in his stateroom.
Yeah, I took issue with that.
Yeah, like Shawn, I was.
You took issue with it, but the movie nicely explained it afterwards.
Thank you for expositing that to me 10 minutes later in the movie. I was like, this makes no sense. Cobb has been working underneath the captain for how many years now? And why? Like, there's no way that he would take Hunter's side over the captain's. But then he's like, "Listen, I did not take your side. I did this because that is what protocol is. And I'm sure that he also had the mindset of like, I'm not starting World War III if we're not absolutely positively sure that this is what is supposed to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and like watching it, I mean, it's not a long movie, but it is a long movie. It's over 2 hours long.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even notice.
But like the movie takes place, like over that 2 hours.
Yeah.
Period of time. Like it's in real time.
Yeah,
like while
it's
you're watching
almost
it,
in real
the time
time,
is passing exactly as
with the exception of like them boarding the.
Yeah. Well, we should say this. We should say that it's not in real time until the end, like the last hour of the movie is all in real time.
Yeah. Because
they have like 12 days that they're out at sea while they're getting like emergency action messages and shit like that. So yeah, because it said like what, day 12 that they were like.
It's pretty much from the first message.
Yeah. And then but it's I watched this movie on a whim the one time, and it paid off. I was like, man, I really like that movie. So
yeah, there's parts of it that I wasn't like a fan. Like in the very beginning, whenever Gene Hackman's talking about horses, and he's like completely wrong. First of all, about horses being stupid, and then his off the cuff remark of women about it.
High school girls,
and his thinly veiled racism near the climax of the movie.
It is the climax of the movie because they're waiting for the radio signal to be put back on because he tells him he's got 3 minutes.
Yeah,
and then he has this thinly veiled racism against her.
Just like, oh, okay, yikes.
He got a little hot-headed.
Yeah, like it's confusing to me at that point because it's like he is a sympathetic character to a point, but then you do these things and he says these things like that where you're like, you can't relate to, like that's objectionable.
Yeah,
it's just like, what am I supposed to think about this character?
That was probably a real thing back in the 90s, though.
No, yeah, sure.
I did like.
It's still. Thing,
it's not thinly veiled anymore, though. I always like that last line though of the movie when he walks out and he thanks him, for giving him, for recommending that he be given a boat, because he proved himself worthy. He did exactly what the captain told him to do, where he's like, don't kiss my ass, all that. And he ends up getting soon to receive his own command, and then he says to him, you were right and I was wrong. And then he says about the Lippenzotters, the horses, they are from Spain, not Portugal. Like, I just love that, where there's that little pause and then he says that, and I'm like, like, good on you.
So did they actually come out black?
Yes. I believe they do.
Oh yeah, I didn't know if that was a real thing. Like, so what do they do? Dye them?
No, they're just like when animals age, they change colors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was lost on that whole thing. I didn't know if they like made them.
No. The only acceptable horse is a white horse.
The only acceptable horse is one that's made.
So they paint them.
It's a white horse that's made, not born.
Oh no. But yeah, it was a pretty good movie overall. I mean, the atmosphere of them being in this, I think it captured that very well. Because it was cramped and paranoid at times, and obviously tensions were high because of what was happening.
It reminded me, not in the way that it was shot or anything, but the tense atmosphere and everybody not trusting anybody. It reminded me of The Thing the first time I watched it, because it's and The Hateful Eight. It's that distrust, people stuck somewhere with each other, not knowing what's going on. There's a graver threat at stake. I don't know why, I just like those kinds of movies where you're having an anxiety attack watching it and enjoying every second of it because you don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know what turn it's going to take.
Yeah.
How about that guy who got brained in in the.
They kind of ignore that too. Like that's kind of like a serious moment.
They lost 4 guys
for Hunter, where he's like, that's kind of inconsequential too. It's just kind of showing that he has the ability to lead the submarine.
Yeah, because
but he's just basically like, close that hatch or we are all going to die.
Yeah.
Like he's trading 4 lives for
somebody,
the rest of the crew.
That.
And I mean, he also was doing it because, I mean, not to prove a point, but with Gene Hackman throwing the key to him and saying, "You're not ready to make tough decisions."
Right.
And then, of course, he has to make that decision.
Yeah, that was his tough decision.
Those 4 guys drown in order to save the rest of the ship.
Yeah.
But that one dude is already dead before that water got any higher. He got brained with a fucking flange cap on that valve that, you know those things are held in there with like 12 bolts. If that thing bust off of there, I mean, his skull was caved in. He was not alive for the rest of the
I don't understand why they kept working when that guy's like, I gotta close the hatch. You can make it. Hurry up. Come on. And they're all just like still like trying to tighten the
There's
wrenches.
a ladder. Like, why wouldn't you just climb up
Yeah.
and just be like, "Well, shut it. We'll all live."
Yeah,
you know?
like that is like, clearly they're abandoning the prospect of stopping the flooding, so might as well survive.
Yeah. So what I thought they were doing was I thought they were trying to make the propeller work.
Yeah.
And so I thought like they were going to make it work last minute and they were going to be shut in there. But yeah, why the hell did they just?
Yeah, they were just trying to prevent more flooding from the submarine. So I could have just abandoned it because they were going to seal off that section of the sub anyway.
Yeah.
That just was like strange.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Other than to be his difficult call.
Yeah, that's a bit of a plot contrivance. But, you know. Viggo Mortensen's role in the movie was strange to me because he's like his friend, Hunter's friend, and then he's like, oh, well, I'm going to join I called them the mutiny ones, the ones that take over the ship control from Hunter. So he's joining that mutiny.
Yeah,
but then he also completely disregards the captain's orders to launch the missile. I mean, I know that it's like that's conflict within him, but it's just so weird.
Because the mutiny crew kind of strong-armed him into joining them because he wasn't going to join them. He's like, listen, Hunter's my friend and all that. And they're like, yeah, well, shut the fuck up, nerd. You know, like, and they tried to like bring him in. And then that was another tense scene too, where Gene Hackman puts the gun to Webster's head. And he's like, I'm count to 3, so then I'm going to blow your head off. Then he's like, fuck, it does me no good to kill you. You're the only one who knows the combination. And then he takes the other dude. And he's like, but he doesn't. Like, that was the most villainous shit to do, is just hold another one of your crew hostage and say you're going to fucking murder them.
Yeah.
If you don't give them the code.
So that's the one thing is, so both of them get court-martialed at the end of the film. Hunter and Murphy. They both get Ramsey, whatever.
Murphy.
I kept saying
you
Murphy.
said Murphy twice.
Yeah, I think so. Ramsey. I don't know why.
We're talking about RoboCop.
Yeah, right. That's it. But Hunter and Murphy, I did it again. Hunter and Ramsey get court-martialed at the end of the movie. You'd think that him literally threatened a subordinate's life twice.
That's why he asked for early retirement.
Yeah, but he should be fucking thrown in prison.
Well, yeah. But
like that's not a good ending. They let him go. He's the bad guy.
He's Lex Luthor.
Yeah. It just goes to show corruption. He had a friend high up in the court marshaling, so he let him go scot-free. This is bullshit.
That's right.
I give this movie a 0 out of 10.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm gonna add another 0 with a 1 in front of it.
But yeah, if we don't have anything else to say, I'll throw my actual rating out here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that it was good. The beginning was slow, even though it was necessary to set up everything, and then some parts I've just I don't know. I wasn't really feeling it, so I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
It's higher than I thought you were gonna give it.
Yeah.
So, Mike,
I'm gonna actually second it a 7 out of 10. That's what I had in my head anyway. So,
all right.
Yeah, I I agree. I pretty much agree with Shawn completely on this one. Like, it's slow at the beginning, but once it got going, it honestly went the whole time. So
yeah, it's very, pretty fast paced.
yeah,
Like you said, it's 2 hours long essentially. Yeah, I really didn't feel the.
No, I didn't feel the.
I felt the length in the beginning because it's slow.
Yeah,
but...
you only feel it up until they get on the sub, and then.
Well, I had chicky nuggets. Chicky nuggies at the beginning, so it was all good.
I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 because this, like I said, I watched this on a whim, and this became one of my favorite movies of recent years. Like watching this is definitely one that I can rewatch. And I'm biased because I like submarine movies, and submarine books and all that. But like, I don't know, the pairing of Denzel and Gene Hackman is good. Just everything about it, the atmosphere, the way everything is shot, even the special effects aren't terrible.
They're kind of bad.
Shut up! You just don't like the counter.
I've seen worse from '95.
Oh yeah. But this is one I can definitely see myself revisiting again and again. Like if it pops on TV or something.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd search it out myself, but like if we were in a group setting and everybody want to watch it, I'd be like, all right.
This is the third time I've watched it, and the second time I literally was like, I'm gonna go watch Crimson Tide again, and like just pulled it up on Prime, and I was like, I'm gonna watch it again. So yeah, it's no Miller's Crossing, but
that's true. It's not Miller's Crossing.
I was I don't know. I always thought I knew what Denzel Washington looked like, but apparently I didn't know him as a young man because I had to remind myself that's him.
Not remember the Titans. Denzel.
Is this the first war movie that we've had? Like this is like a straight up war movie.
Yes, I believe.
I think so. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Also,
and even then, is it even like a war movie, or is it a war drama?
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's
not like I don't know.
There's no actual combat.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
There is submarine warfare.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. A lot of casualties because we know that Akula probably had quite a few people on it.
I wish we would have saw maybe a scene in there.
Yeah,
that would have been
because we never figured out was it actually a bad guy ship?
Oh yeah. Definitely was.
Speaking from experience, I can identify an Akula class attack submarine.
Okay.
That was indeed an Akula class attack submarine.
I don't even know what that word means.
It's a Russian word.
Okay.
So I know we forgot to bring this up at the very beginning of the podcast, but this marks our 1 year anniversary of recording.
As we're recording this, actually, because the episode came out today.
Did it really?
Yeah.
On the 13th?
I had the memory.
Wow.
Today.
Yeah.
Insane.
So, happy 1 year anniversary to Geek Tavern Podcast, and many more are on the horizon.
Cool. Yes. That's why, you know what's weird is I actually thought today at work, I was like, wonder when the 1 year is coming up.
Yeah.
I literally
Shawn and I talked about it the other day. I thought it was sooner than January 13th, but yeah.
Huh. Well, look at that.
Because I knew our first episode was Star Wars based, so I thought it was December. But
yeah, we recorded 3 of them because it was Fallen Order, all the Star Wars rankings, and then it was the decade of movies.
Yeah.
There's 3 of them.
What
I don't know if
Fallen
we separated Star Wars and
the Star Wars was together. Yeah, that's what the first
was
episode was.
Yeah. Oh, it was.
But yeah. So that was a pleasant memory to have anyway.
Yeah, go back and listen to that. Still relevant.
Yeah, you'll hear our podcast grow, I'm sure.
I'm gonna fall asleep.
We do things a little differently now.
I'm gonna fall asleep to it tonight. And wake up at 3 a.m. to go to the bathroom, and it's still playing. And it's like, oh my God.
It's a low rider. Wake up
Immediately
in George
closing my eyes,
Lopez.
going back to sleep.
But yeah, that was a recommendation from Aaron. And we have another recommendation coming up from myself. So I was thinking about this one. Earlier this week, I wasn't exactly sure what I was doing, but with the impending information I got, I decided, and don't think that this is on a whim because I've been wanting to suggest this for a while.
What's the impending information?
Computing.
My recommendation will be Tenacious D in the Pick of Destiny.
Okay, all right.
I last week I was literally going through and being like, that'll be one of my recommendations here. And then recently we went through and watched a few videos, and Aaron had said he had never watched it. So I was like,
I wondered why you asked me if I had watched it, because I thought you were gonna be like, well, we can watch it now because we were hanging out, and I thought he was gonna like turn it on, and he didn't. And I was like, oh. I was like,
so what you're telling me is, because my cousin hasn't seen it either, he needs to come over for that one.
Yeah, it's available on HBO Max. So
I own it on DVD.
Oh, even then. But there you go. So
sweet.
Wow.
Cool.
all right,
Wasn't
guys.
expecting that.
Thank you for watching or listening to our podcast, our discussion about Crimson Tide, and some video game news at the beginning. Happy 1-year anniversary to Geek Tavern Podcast, and we will catch you all next time. Later.
Bye-bye.